Right now at noon, U.S. stocks roaring back today after the U.S. and China agreed to temporarily cut tariffs. How the two sides prepare to further negotiate. Plus, a closing chapter in moonlighting scandal in Oregon. How former Secretary of State reacts to her settling fines. And later,
retirement is coming up, so I hope to take advantage of that.
Today marks the first day that you will be able to take a direct flight to Tokyo from SeaTac. That adds to the dozens of global cities you can reach nonstop from the Pacific Northwest. Your news at noon starts right now. Thank you for joining us. I'm China Green. We start this afternoon with major progress in the U.S.-China trade deal. The two countries have agreed to a 90-day pause on most tariffs they imposed on each other since last month. The U.S. stocks surged after the agreement. These are numbers from half an hour ago. Dow Jones climbed more than 1,000 points, a 2.7% raise. S&P added 3%, and NASDAQ boomed more than 4%. Under the deal, the U.S. cuts tariffs on Chinese imports from 145 to 30%. And China will lower tariffs on U.S. imports from 125% to 10%. In a joint statement, the two countries said that they will, quote, establish a mechanism to continue discussions about economic and trade relations.
It's important to understand how quickly we were able to come to agreement, which reflects that perhaps the differences were not so large as maybe thought.
We want more balanced trade, and I think that both sides are committed to achieving that.
The impact of the reciprocal tariffs was already being felt in the U.S., with the number of shipping containers from China falling dramatically since early April. And in another national update, President Donald Trump signed an executive order today aiming at lowering prescription drug costs. The order directs the Department of Health and Human Services to find price-cutting goals in 30 days and then start negotiations between the administration and drug makers. It's unclear how the order will impact millions of Americans who have private health insurance. And to our top local headlines this afternoon, a school bus driver in Lincoln County will be in court later this afternoon for alleged sex crimes. 21-year-old Josiah LaFrenz faces charges that include luring a minor and online sex corruption of a child. The charges follow reports of inappropriate communication between LaFrenz and a Taft High School student. Police also believe that there could be more victims. So we put the tip line on your screen there. They're asking anyone with information about this case to call that number. New at noon, Vancouver Fire responded to a fire early this morning at Abiruchi Indian Cuisine. It's just off of I-205 near Mill Plain Boulevard. No one was in the building at the time and no injuries were reported, but Vancouver Fire is investigating what the cause was. And authorities in Bend are investigating after a fire destroyed a food truck. Now, this one happened around 1 o'clock this morning in the Tumalo area, which is north of Bend. When crews got there, they found flames just shooting through the food truck's roof. Fire and Rescue says that the fire appears to be an accident, but they're still investigating. No one was inside the truck at the time. All right, headed over to Rod Hill for a look at weather. It's rain.
Yes.
I haven't seen that in a while. Just like constant rain.
Hope it's not overly impacting your day as you watch us here at noon. This is, of course, great news. We haven't had a stretch of cooler weather since the first week of April. We haven't had any decent rain since the first week of April. And again, the last thing you want in our climate is to be dry in the spring going into what's almost always a dry summer, right? We've picked up over a quarter of an inch of rain here in downtown Portland since last evening, meaning we have a chance to get up close to a half of an inch for the 2 days, yesterday and today. You see the box saying 2 lightning strikes. Those have been out here between John Day and Baker City. Now, there is a hail / thunderstorm threat on the west side, but as we said on Sunrise this morning, the far better chance of stormy skies is out east of the Cascades. But with that said, we're getting our share of some spotty downpours. So far, I have not had reports of hail, so it looks like these bright colors you see north of Newburgh, south of Beaverton are mainly just downpours coming through the area. Right now, dry in Tualatin with the rain over downtown Portland. Here's a look at Central Oregon. This is show you this is fairly widespread activity. That's Aspen Lakes golf course. You can see one of the Three Sisters there, but you can also see some rain falling. Not as much rain at the coast today as we're seeing here in the valley. Portland temperature right now is sitting at 53 degrees. Rain cooled with showers in the area. We're going to get up to about 60 today with these showers continuing into this evening. This is probably at least the wettest day between now and Thursday morning. We'll have your complete 7-day forecast coming up.
Thank you, Rod. In developing news, Portland police are investigating a shooting in Old Town that left one man dead. It happened early Sunday morning near the Steel Bridge. Police say that they found the man dead in the street after several people heard loud gunfire. According to a KGW tally, this marks the 13th homicide in Portland so far this year. A growing trend that people we talk to say is nothing new.
Because it's happened for so long. You know, this is nothing new.
It's horrible, man. I mean, I've been out here trying to get off the street now for about 7 years, and there's just no footstep out of here.
Anyone with information about the shooting is asked to contact Portland police. And in an update, former Secretary of State Shemia Fagan addressed Oregon's ethics board, apologizing for the actions that led to a resignation and agreeing to a $3,600 fine. Fagan stepped down in 2023 after it came to light that she was working as a consultant for a cannabis company while also serving as Oregon Secretary of State. And Fagan oversaw state elections and audits. Here's what Fagan had to say in front of the ethics board.
And I know that my actions were indefensible. Embarrassing mistakes, bad judgment, and I'm sorry. And so whatever fine you decide to impose on me today, I will accept it.
The board thanked Fagan for her apology. Community members in Salem gathered over the weekend to protest the Avelo Airlines involvement in deportation efforts. The airline came to Salem Municipal Airport in 2023. Celine Stevens heard from those angered by the move.
Yeah, I mean, it's shameful. It's blood money. It's a deal with the devil.
Protesters gathered at Salem City Hall Saturday protesting Avelo Airlines. The airline signed a long-term charter program agreement flying for the U.S. Department of Homeland Security's Immigration Control and Enforcement Agency, something some protesters say was done for the money.
Avelo's a company that's in financial trouble, and they took this ICE money, for profit over people.
In a statement, Avelo says they will open a base at Mesa Gateway Airport in Arizona, and flights will be both domestic and international to support the department's deportation efforts. Protesters calling on the city to take action.
Any city that's supporting Avelo Airlines by running commercial flights is also supporting the deportation flights out of Mesa, Arizona.
Avelo Airlines came to Salem Municipal Airport back in 2023, making them the first commercial airline service in the airport in over a decade. Initially, many were excited about it.
We were thrilled. I've used it many times. My wife has used it. Obviously, things changed. That was before they started this.
But since this recent agreement, protesters want the airline to either not participate in the deportation flights or leave the airport. However, some say it would not make a difference.
And they're not making policy. You're not even putting a stamp of approval on it, right? All they did, and they said in their press release, we're just looking for stable income. And that's pretty honest.
Brent DeHart with Fly Salem says the anger should not be directed to the airline, but Washington, D.C.
Let's say they put Avelo completely out of business. It won't change one deportation. This is where I think it's getting misdirected. Trump's going to deport. Well, Trump's going to deport.
Avelo says they flew these charters under the Biden administration too, but protesters say this time is different.
Well, it's a misdirect. This administration refuses that due process. And so when Avelo says they used to deport with previous administrations, yeah, but it was totally different.
The president saying due process can take too long.
If you're talking about that, then we'd have to have 1 million or 2 million or 3 million trials. We have thousands of people that are some murderers and some drug dealers. And I was elected to get them the hell out of here, and the courts are holding me from doing it.
Celine Stevens, KGW News.
Happening today at SeaTac in just over an hour from now, Alaska Airlines launches its inaugural direct flight to Tokyo. Passengers are thrilled that by the end of the year, SeaTac will have nonstop flights to 33 cities and other countries.
When you have children and you travel with children, you want to get on a plane, get to your destination as quick as you can.
Retirement is coming up, so I hope to take advantage of that.
It's going to bring so many people to Seattle that have probably never been here.
The added direct flights will also make it easier for people to visit the Pacific Northwest ahead of the World Cup in Seattle next summer. And just a reminder, starting 2 weeks from today, you will need to reserve a timed permit to visit Multnomah Falls. You can get one up to 14 days before your planned visit. The cost is $2 and they're available at recreation.gov.